Hey guys, so I happened to get back. I went to a little barbecue and I'm watching the market. I'm watching it close end of week. So let's go ahead and look at the market, and I want to talk about what this potentially means. So, oh man. So when I started, going to YouTube and decided to do this live stream about 7 minutes ago, the price on Bitstamp was at around 25, 22. And unfortunately, we have dropped lower down to 24.97, right? So it's not good, but it's also not the end of the world. Why can't I zoom in? What's going on here? Oh, I can't zoom in anymore. That's as far as it goes. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I was really hoping that we would close above this red line and avoid this red one, okay? Wow, can't believe I have over 100 viewers this last minute. So we're still watching, got about 4 more minutes before this weekly candle closes. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One of them is this is just a single exchange. This isn't an index, right? Like I have an index here, which is Brave New Coin Liquid Index, which I really like, actually. I really like the Brave New Coin Index. So, but this is daily charts, okay? I can make it weekly. But the thing is, this isn't going to update at 8 o'clock. This is going to update like an hour later, unfortunately, or around an hour or two later, even though it's the 8 o'clock price. It's just on a delay. So, but we can take, anyway, let's go to Stamp, right? We have 4 more minutes, 3 more minutes. And it doesn't look like we will close above the red line, okay? Now, closing above the red line will make this number a green 3 as opposed to an orange 1. Okay, and it kind of makes a difference. And let's just wait 3 more minutes, 2.5 more minutes. And I'm going to talk about the significance of this from a technical perspective. Like, forget SegWit, forget what's going on, right? Like forget that you know what asset you're looking at, right? Let's take these candles in isolation. Like, forget the fact that this is Bitcoin. What is the price telling us? And that's what I'm going to talk about, okay? So we got what? We still have 7:57. Here's my clock. We got 7:58. Yes, I use Windows. I get enough crap about that. So let's see what happens. Let's just see the close. Maybe there'll be a miracle. Maybe the price will move $25 in the next 2 minutes, though I doubt it. On Bitfinex, it actually has to go way higher. On Bitfinex, we would need to close above 24.88 to avoid the same weekly scenario. And right now we're at 24.41. So Bitfinex would need to move another $46 in the next minute and a half. So that's obviously not happening, right? That's obviously not going to happen. So let's see. We're at 25.12. We got about a minute and change to go. We're obviously not going to make it, but like what's his name? Oh man, I forgot the actor from that movie Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey. Like Jim Carrey says, there's always a chance. And look, it's very questionable what this means, right? I know we're talking pennies, and I know that Bitcoin is a 24-hour market. So if we cross this number an hour from now, how much of a difference does it make on the numbers? And honestly, I don't know, right? Like Bitcoin is uncharted territory for all of us. And no one in the world of Bitcoin even knows what the hell these numbers are, other than learning them from me. Like maybe there's 1 or 2 people that would look at this chart and know what the hell it means, that didn't know that I existed, right? Maybe, but I doubt it. All right, and here we go. So I don't know when the next candle pops up. It's also possible I'm a complete moron and the next candle starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time, not 8 p.m. I just know it's around. There it is. There we go. Okay, so our week has ended. It's unfortunate that, let me zoom in on this guy. It's unfortunate we were not able to close above the red line, okay? But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world, okay? But let's talk about what it means. Let's talk about what it means in general, not in relation to Bitcoin necessarily, okay? So let's look at recent history, okay? When was the last time we had a weekly red one? Well, we got it here, and it wasn't pretty. And we got it here, and it was nothing, okay? Now, you also have to keep in mind that I was really hoping by closing above the red line tonight, we would have been in this situation right here. It would have been a green 3. And then we would have gotten a red 1 this following week, okay? Because in order for this to have been a green 4, this candle needed to close above this 9 candle. And that was going to be a tall task. In order for this candle to avoid a red 1, it needed to close above this 8 candle. And it was close. It was also just like today was, okay? But by not doing that, it made it trickier, right? So in general, according to this index, once we hit this 9, one way to interpret the situation is that we are dealing with a 1 to 4 week pullback, and then we go up. So this is now week 4, okay? However, if this week, this being a red 1, means that whatever profit you took from this bullish trend on the 9, you now need to take the rest of your profit and move your trading position into cash, because there is a possibility of a longer-term bear market. This is a technical thing. This has nothing to do with Bitcoin. We're just talking straight trading technicals, okay? Now, when would I consider shorting Bitcoin? At this point, this red line is done. So I'm going to add another line, trying to decide what color I would make it. I guess it's a short. I'll make it like more purple, I guess. So we're going to take a look what the low of this candle was. And the low of this week's candle on Bitstamp, remember, this is just one exchange, is 22.91. So I'm going to draw this line here. And I'm going to lock it into place. What did I say? 22.91? 22.91. Okay. And I'll even be very thorough. Yeah, 22.91 flat. Perfect. Okay. So if this week the price falls below 22.91 on Bitstamp at any point, this asset becomes a potential short play, okay? Now, this particular trade worked out terribly over here, terribly. But this was a different situation, very different, right? Now, because we started a bullish count and didn't get to the 9, it also meant that Bitcoin wasn't ready to top. So even though you had a similar situation here, where the second candle of the down move started going below the low, it indicated a potential short. But because it wasn't coming off a green 9, but it was coming off a green 13, which is just as relevant. But it wasn't coming off a green 9. So it didn't have a prior sell signal like this one did. This is called a 9 sell. Okay. So now what I am watching this week is it trading. Remember, these are weekly candles. This is a long-term trend. This is multi-month trend. So what I am watching this week is if we fall below this low, it creates real trouble. Okay. But right now, this long-term view of Bitcoin is completely 100% neutral. If we would have closed 5 minutes ago above 25.30, the picture would have remained bullish. But because we didn't, the picture is now 100% neutral on weekly candles. Weekly candles. Has nothing to do with daily. Weekly candles. Okay. So there are a couple of problems with this that you need to be aware of. First of all, we're dealing with Bitcoin, which is a 24/7 market. So no one even knows if these indicators are complete garbage or they're actually useful. No one knows. I don't know. Nobody knows, right? And if no one is really looking at this indicator, does it make it more useful or less useful? And the answer is, I don't know. But I'm watching it. And because of me, many of you are watching it. Okay? And hopefully learning about it. So let's see what happens. Now, in order for this to remain a red 2 and keep Bitcoin in bearish territory, this week needs to close below 29.54, the high of this candle. And it will most likely do that. I find it very difficult to imagine a situation where Bitcoin flies above 29.50 this week. I find that very, very unlikely. It's possible. I mean, F2 Pool can support BIP 141. Bitfury can support BIP 141. Or they can support BIP 148, and then Bitcoin should fly right off the charts, okay? Bitfinex and Bitstamp, and I mean, GDAX and Coinbase they're useless. They're a lost cause. They're not leaders in the space, right? Bitfinex and Bitstamp can come out and support BIP 148, and that can certainly give us a giant boost. Bitfury can support BIP 148. F2 Pool can support BIP 148. Slush is already kind of supporting it, but Slush is not enough. Okay, so those things can happen, and the price can fly, right? But if we had closed today above the red line, and this would have been a red 3, I would have considered our current situation to look like this, where we had a green 3 after a 9, and then we're going to get a 1 for just 1 week, and then we're off to the races, and then you're buying Bitcoin again right here. It's giving you a nice green sign, and you're waiting for this 13. In order for us to get a 2 on the bottom, we will need a close above the high of this candle right here. And that's very possible, very possible. Okay, and now we're looking for a 13 exhaustion count off of this 9. Okay, and let's see, we're already going back up a little bit, so this is good. So this is the overall weekly view and what I'm looking for. So right now I'm in a long-term neutral position. I was bullish up until 20 minutes ago, and now the math is telling me to go neutral. All right, let's take a look at the. All right, so unfortunately, the Brave New Coin Liquid Index isn't going to update for like another hour or two, even though the price is in. I don't know what price it's going to have. I can only guess that the close on the index is going to be higher than the previous candle. So that means the close is going to be around here, right? So let's put the numerical indicator on the daily chart and see what we have. And we can estimate what the next number is. Okay, so again, we got a red one on the daily, which means we're going neutral. And we still have this count right here. You see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're still waiting for a 13 to exhaust this 9. But this 9 wasn't as a clean sell like this 9 was. Okay, this 9 was a much cleaner sell signal than this 9, indicated by the arrow, and there's no arrow here. Okay. By the way, the code generates these numbers. I don't put them in. Like I just, see my script right here. Turn that off. They're gone. Turn it on. It calculates it on the fly. All right. By the way, people have been calling me up for consulting, and I have been sharing this script. I also have a couple of programmers that have offered to fix a couple of the known bugs I have in the script where my coding skills are unable to fix those known bugs. All right, so that means today's candle closed around here, and it's definitely going to be a red 2. How do I know it's a red 2? Because this candle would need to close above the close of this candle right here on the 5. Would have had to close higher than this close, and there's no way we closed above 25.44 on the index. Impossible. Okay. Wow, I really want these things. Visibility. I really want them to be in the back. Hold on. Nope. Send to back. And right. So let me do that. Let me just adjust this a little here. Send to back. And this one, send to back. Okay. So the good news is the 50-day moving average held us up. And today's candle closed way above the moving, and not way above, but above. So there's still some hope. I really don't like this cup and handle on handle. Not a fan of that, but it's okay. I mean, we're still kind of alive, and we're closed above this high right here, which is kind of okay. But anyway, today's candle's missing. So let's go to the triangle, okay? We're now in this triangle, and now today's candle is already starting to go up a little bit, which is good. But this triangle comes to a point next Sunday. So that should be very interesting, okay? We closed 1 day below. Okay, so we really needed today to start trading below yesterday's low in order to really indicate a sell signal, right? And I said as much in my tweet. So right now, the daily chart is just flip-flopping, right? We had this 9. We had this 13, but this 13 is from this 9, right? There's actually another 13 count working on it. But unfortunately, my coding skills don't allow me to code multiple 13s off of multiple 9s. So that's one of my known bugs. Yeah, can I send this triangle to the back also? It's in the way. Send to back. Excellent. Let's keep the candles in front here. Yeah, so let's see what happens. The hourly chart, I don't like the hourly chart right now. I mean, the world of Bitcoin right now is so fragile with all this scaling nonsense that the hourly chart isn't very useful, I think. I think that like news events are really driving the price of Bitcoin, and therefore I don't trust the hourly chart, but I will trust the daily chart and the weekly chart. So I trust them on that. Okay. So a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, I am only looking at one exchange, which is Bitstamp, and other exchanges are going to be different. We don't have a one unified price of Bitcoin, right? It's not like the S&P 500. It's not like Apple stock, right? It's still random. Maybe in 20 years, there will be one price of Bitcoin across the world that everyone is using to trade off of, okay? But probably not. That's not what Bitcoin is. I mean, if you let Craig Wright, I'm sorry, guys. If you let fake Satoshi deal with it, then yes, he believes that clearly he stated in his presentation that he wants Bitcoin to be centralized, and then it will certainly have one price controlled by BitMain, right? Or his own mining farm. So yeah, so then we will have one price. It'll be beautiful for trading. One centralized price is amazing. I love the fact that S&P 500 only has one price. I love the fact that Apple stock and Amazon stock only have one price. That is beautiful. If you're a trader, it makes life incredibly simple. But that's not what I want from my decentralized currency. Okay, so this is the world we live in. So there you go. So I don't know what else. This is all I really wanted to say. I wanted to do a quick video to explain my tweets about why I find this important. I guess I can flip my camera on for a minute, and since I'm already on, I can take a question or two. I don't know if Rich is here to help me and grab a question, but yeah, it was nice and sunny today. Was back in the pool. It was great. All right, guys, I don't want to stay on long. This video is already on for 20 minutes. I'm only going to keep it to 30 minutes. I mean, it's crazy how much video time I do. But that's my current view on this situation and how we had the weekly close. I don't know what's causing this price up. I really don't. I have not paid attention to my Twitter feed. I mean, I haven't seen anything from like Luke. I haven't seen anything from guys like Whale Panda from Tour. I mean, Vortex does really good tweets. A couple of other people that I follow. I don't know what caused the price to go up today. Maybe the fact that people are digging their heels into the user-activated soft fork. They realize that SegWit2x is bad. They don't think anyone's going to run it. I really think that BIP148 will win, and I will talk way more about my August 11th date. And we will see if I'm just a crazy or August 11th will actually be of some kind of significance. All right, I see one question here. Would you invest in Apple or Lenovo? Well, I don't know. Let's see what my trading season's supposed to start like next week, but I've been so busy to look at any individual stocks. I really should pull up Apple on TradingView, but this is just faster. I didn't even know Lenovo was a tradable company, to be honest with you. I mean, Apple is on my trade list, but not Lenovo. I've never traded Lenovo. I've traded Apple many, many, many times, but I've never actually traded Lenovo. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on with Apple. Wow, I kind of wish this was bigger. Oh, wait, I'm not sharing screen. Hey, Rich, if you're around and you see questions, just compile them for me. I hope you guys can see that. I know it's probably kind of small. I don't really want to pull it up on TradingView because then I have to put all these indicators in. Though I want to zoom in. Maybe I'll zoom in. Hold on. All right, let me get my bearings here. All right, so let's move this below. Let's I guess let's do price labels, and let's do that. Okay, so here's the daily chart of Apple. It's really small. What if I zoom in? All right, is that better? Hope that's better. I'll zoom in some more. There we go. That should be good. Okay, so here's the daily chart of Apple. So what do I see? What happens if we annotate? Oh man, that's way too bright. Let's do orange. That's better. All right, so what I see in Apple is this channel. Okay, after this huge down day. I don't even know what the hell happened that day. Wasn't in my trading season. That wasn't earnings. Okay, guys. Earnings was right here in May. So that wasn't earnings. Actually, no, my bad. Earnings was earnings in late April? I'm looking at my calendar because I do pay attention to when Apple earnings were. Oh yeah, May 3rd. Yep. Earnings were right here, right around here. This was right after earnings. So I was right. So we're now under the 50-day moving average. We're in this channel. So right now, to me, Apple is a no trade. So here's the good news, right? The good news is your Apple has completely reset. Okay, your MACD is at the low. So you want to wait for the MACD to cross to the upside. And you want to wait for your RSI to cross the 50, because your RSI went to 30, which is great, after the RSI was overbought. Okay, so this is good. Apple has completely reset, right? It would be nice if it caught up to its 200-day moving average, but I don't think it's going to happen. So as long as it stays in this range, Apple is good. Now, I think that the most likely scenario for Apple is it goes back to the top of the range and then breaks out. Okay, that's the most likely scenario. But you can't know that until it gets back above. So my view on Apple is the moment Apple closes above the high of the prior candle, so right around here. So the moment Apple closes above like 147.50, Apple becomes a buy, and then it becomes a double down above the 50-day moving average, and then it becomes a triple down above the high. So again, right here, you had way too many chances to get out of Apple, and that's not how tops are made. You don't get 2 chances to get out at 155. You just don't. So that tells me that Apple will break 155 in the near future, and Apple is not in a bear market. And Apple has pulled back to a decent area. I mean, let me draw a box here. So this right here is prior support. We're staying slightly above it, which is very clean. And I'm leaning bullish on Apple, but I want to see it get back above this range. Okay, so that's my view on Apple. Let's take a look at Lenovo. Was it? Oh man. Is it even tradable? Is it Lenovo or Lenovo? I don't even know, and I'm buying their computer. Gotta Google it. Oh, it's all O's. Okay. Oh wait, it's Lenovo with an E. Okay, got it. I can't spell, guys. I have a degree in math, I have a degree in geology, and I have a degree in engineering. The reason I have those degrees is because I can't spell. So I could only get degrees in subjects that don't require spelling. Wow, why does it have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters in the ticker? Oh my God, it's a pink sheet? Is that really Lenovo? The computer that I bought, it's a pink sheet? It's a $12 stock in a pink sheet? Oh my God. Yeah, this tells me nothing, guys. Sorry. This is totally useless. Yeah, this tells me nothing. Let's look at the weekly. I can't even analyze that. It's not analyzable. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this. I like it. I like it. Let's see if we can go back a little further. Ooh, I really like it. I like it. So let's take a look. Let's see what we got here. All right, so clearly you had support right here. once this support broke, floodgates opened, right? Now, how big were the floodgates going to open? Well, you see this high right here at 22, and you have this support at 16. 22 minus 16, $6. Okay, so once we break below 16, you're looking at a $6 fall, and look where we stopped at 11:30. Okay, just above that. Okay, so look how nicely Lenovo was following the 50-day moving average. You see, this is the difference between Apple on the earlier chart and this. You see how there was no double top? You see how you had 1 day to get out at the high, and then boom, you never even had a chance. Okay, this is what I try to teach people. That is a high. That's a high. You get 1 day, and if you screw that day up, you better run and hide, because the market ain't gonna give you a second chance to get out at $35. That is not how markets work. Okay. On the flip side, right here, you had a double top, right? You had a 31.79 high, and then you had a 31.04 high, almost the same thing, like a difference of 70 cents, right? So the market gave you a second chance to get out. If the market gave you a second chance to get out, it's look, nothing is 100%. Nothing's 100%, right? But in my experience, if the market gives you a second chance to get out, in my experience, there's like an 80% plus chance that isn't the high. Maybe even an 85, 90% chance. Like, I've almost never seen, it's like, it literally is like a unicorn, where you had a second chance to get out at the top before a big crash. But you didn't have a chance to get out over here. And yeah, there is a big difference between 31 and 35. This is 34.80, right? I mean, look, $4 on 31, that's a decent percentage, right? I mean, we're talking like 12% higher, right? That I know people in crypto love their 1,000% gains, but in reality, if you can consistently make over 10% per year, you're beating the stock market, and that's unheard of for a 10-year stretch, okay? So let's take a look at what's going on now. So you can see from this 5-year chart that the 50-week moving average is very critical. And the moment this stock broke the 50-day moving average, it was all she wrote. And then it came back up to the 200-week moving average, and boom, the sucker gets rejected again, okay? And then it finally came back to the 50. It got rejected. We finally went above the 50-week, and we're flirting with it. And look, it's turning to the upside, okay? I actually like this. Like, none of this is trading advice, guys. But I really like it to go back to 16, and at the least test this. It needs to come back and retest the breakdown zone, okay? This is also classic right here, where it dropped below, then it came back to test the point immediately, and then it really crashed, okay? But we need to test it from the bottom and then maybe bounce around and go back up. I can certainly see this. And look, I just bought a Lenovo computer, and I like it. I like the daily chart is totally useless, but the long-term chart looks good. This reminds me of Microsoft when the Microsoft Surface started coming out. I mean, the first version of Microsoft Surface was absolutely terrible. The second version of Microsoft Surface was pretty good, and the third version was a huge seller for Microsoft. It made them a lot of money. The stock did amazingly well. So if Lenovo is back at making really good computers, and I just bought their computer, which is, I'm picking it up tomorrow, it's possible that the stock can bounce. So I like the weekly chart, but the daily chart is totally useless. Let me go back to Apple for a second and take a look at Apple on a long-term view. So this is going to be a 5-year weekly, and the 5-year weekly is not that clean. Like it only takes me a second to look at these things and recognize what the hell's going on. Okay, sorry guys, I've been looking at these charts my whole life. So I already see that Apple has very strong support right here at 130. So it's very, very likely that if Apple goes below 140, it will fall down to 130, where it's going to meet its long-term moving average. Now, actually, I can zoom in a little bit. Like, this area is totally meaningless at the moment. The last 2 years is plenty of information, right? So we have a support point on the weekly that is not strong support. That's weak support. Strong support for Apple is 130. The 130 support for Apple is pretty much like the 1300 is the support for Bitcoin at the moment. So if Apple starts to go below 140, you're looking at an Apple a strong support at 130 for a potential buy point, and at that time, the 50-week moving average will also be up there. As you can see, the 50-week moving average is at an all-time high. The 200-week moving average is at an all-time high, and this is also not good. So this right here is crossed on a long-term scale, and though it did cross here and then went higher, in general, it also it was flip-flopping. So maybe this is not very useful, but you're starting to see a big gap between them. So on a long-term view, very possible that Apple can go down. All right, I think I spent a lot of time on the traditional stocks. I don't normally talk about individual stocks, but I guess there's always an exception, right? Okay, I think Rich sent me a couple of questions. Let's take a look. Tone, why do no main exchanges come out and support 141, 148, or the wallets or mining pools? What are they afraid of? What is their risk? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Well, most of the wallets are prepared for BIP 148. I don't know what exchanges. I don't know what exchanges are doing, right? I mean, one potential reason is exchanges have actual investors, and all right, let me go back to screen share. Exchanges have investors, and they have a fiduciary duty to maybe. I mean, look, BitPay's investor is BitMain, so they're going to do what BitMain says, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. They need to. If the exchanges come out and support a BIP 148, it's pretty much a done deal. But I don't know. I'm not advising any of them, right? I doubt any of them watch my videos. All right, next question. Would there be any signs in the future that should we not do transactions? You know what? It's too early. Let's wait a couple of more weeks, and then we'll know whether Bitcoin is safe to use on August 2nd, or you'll need to take a break. And if Bitcoin is not safe to use on August 2nd, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. I recently got into another explanation on Twitter. Guys, almost nobody, the 300 people that are watching me right now, I think almost none of them are Bitcoin users like myself. I'm not really a Bitcoin user, right? I mean, there are people that need Bitcoin, that they're going to show up at an ATM machine on August 2nd, and they will have to buy Bitcoin. If they don't buy Bitcoin on August 2nd, they don't have a job. And I'm not going to get into the details of who these people are, but there will be people at a Bitcoin ATM machine that have no idea what SegWit is. They have no idea what scaling means. They have no idea what Blockstream is. They have no idea who BitMain is. They never even heard of Rajavir. Okay, they never even heard of me. And these are the people we can't lose. We can't lose these people. These are our users. They're going to show up at a Bitcoin ATM machine, and they're going to expect Bitcoin to work. And we can't have Bitcoin not work on August 2nd. So this shit needs to be figured out. And the sooner everybody gets on BIP 148, because it ain't going nowhere, the sooner everything will go smoothly and we'll have SegWit. Okay? And we'll have plenty of time to figure out if August 2nd is really a problem or it's not a problem. All right, next. Can you please explain the differences between different SegWit kinds, like SegWit 2x, BIP 148, and their corresponding consequences on price and fundamental? Okay, so not in this video, I'll add it, but in my previous videos, please go to the description of my videos, and there is a big section there and must-read articles to understand these differences. It's not simple to explain, okay? So it all started with BIP 141. BIP 141 wants miners to signal that they are going to mine SegWit blocks. Once 95% of all miners are signaling, and I'm simplifying things, guys. Don't pick on the little things. I know the little things in this case. It's a general overview, right? If someone is asking this question, that means they know almost nothing. So I'm not going to fill in the details. I'm just going to do a general overview. So BIP 141 wants 95% of miners to signal that they are willing to mine SegWit blocks with SegWit transactions in them. Once 95% of the miners are committed to mining blocks with SegWit, and they commit to this for approximately 2 weeks in a row, SegWit code goes live, and the miners begin actually mining SegWit transactions, and everything goes smoothly. The problem happened is that the miners didn't want to mine SegWit blocks with SegWit transactions. So it created a big problem. And in general, it's okay. Like if the miners don't want Bitcoin to scale, and if the miners want fees to go to $100, that's okay. Then that's our world. The problem happened when bad actors now started to try and put crap into the Bitcoin protocol. And that's a problem. So if we couldn't get SegWit and we would have had status quo, we would have lived with it. And I'm saying we like I actually matter. I don't matter, right? The core devs and more important people than me. Unfortunately, there was too much, bad things potentially happening with Bitcoin, and the miners were going to hard fork it, and they were going to, try to get even more power with their own code changes. So to prevent that, Bitcoin users and one or two developers decided to say, hey, approximately 85 to 90% of the users want segregated witness transactions. So we're going to force it. We're going to just do it. And the miners are going to realize that they don't control the Bitcoin network. It's not the miners. Listen to the fake Satoshi presentation. He wants miners to have 100% control of the network. And the users don't. The users don't trust miners, especially miners in China. And it's not against China. I mean, if there were miners in Russia, it would be the same thing. If there were miners in America, like nobody wants one country of miners to be in charge. Whether that country is China or Haiti, it doesn't really matter, right? The user-activated soft fork got put into the system. And the user-activated soft fork is what BIP 148 is. So BIP 148 says, if your node is BIP 148 compatible, as of August 1st, your node will not accept Bitcoin transactions unless they are part of a block of a SegWit generating block. Unless a miner that is willing to mine a block with SegWit transactions, but those are the only transactions your block is going to accept. And August 1st, this goes into effect. The only way it doesn't work is if no miner mines a single block with SegWit transactions. And that is kind of unlikely. And the less miners are mining it, the harder it is to find a block. And we do need these blocks found, at least one block per hour. Otherwise, we're not going to get enough blocks, and then the movement will kind of die. Again, general overview. Don't pick on me on the details. Yes, I know the details. Okay. So that's what BIP 148 is. SegWit 2x kind of wanted to avoid this catastrophe on August 1st, and they came out and said, hey, we'll put in BIP 91, and what BIP 91 is a different style of BIP 1, is like BIP 141, but it drops the percentage of miners from 95 to 80, and you have a less time in order to get the ball rolling. And if we can get 80% of the miners through SegWit 2x with BIP 91, then we can avoid the BIP 148 August 1st situation, and we'll have SegWit before August 1st, and everything goes smoothly. The problem is, with who wrote SegWit 2x code, and several additional things that they snuck into that code. They just can't leave it alone. They just can't. Oh, they can't do it. Like Garza can't do it. Nobody can do it, right? No one can just say, okay, we have clean code that is safe and tested. And that's SegWit. James Hilliard wrote BIP 191 without any extra garbage. He made it as clean as possible to get SegWit into the system. I'm almost certain that the core developers will take a look at BIP 191 and they will bless it, that as a standalone, it's perfectly safe. But SegWit 2x has incorporated BIP 91 along with additional lines of code. And Bitcoin code is very complicated. I don't trust anyone writing an additional line of code without a thorough 6-month test. And we don't have that here. We have like a 2-week test. Almost no test, right? So I don't trust SegWit 2x code because of any additional line. Even if they put like comments in there, I don't even trust them to make sure they put like 2 slashes in there to make sure it's actually a comment, right? You know, just like Bitcoin Unlimited code mined an invalid block and lost 13 and plus Bitcoins because their code wasn't tested and they went out of consensus and tried to fork the network. Okay, and then they said, oh, it's not a big deal. Well, sure. If I would love to lose 13.5 Bitcoin and then say, it's not a big deal. It's only 13.5 Bitcoin. I'm rich. I don't care. I just lost 13.5 Bitcoin. So that's what Bitcoin Unlimited did. And this is the same jokers that programmed that code that are programming SegWit 2x code. Now, if SegWit 2x code would have been perfectly clean and only using BIP 91 just to activate SegWit pre-August 1st, I might have been in reluctant support of SegWit 2x temporarily just to get SegWit and avoid potential catastrophes. But they didn't do that, and they put a bunch of extra shit in the code, and now I'm totally against SegWit 2x and these backdoor agreements and these hidden teams programming this code behind closed doors, right? So no. So anyone running SegWit 2x code is either incompetent or they just, they're willing to give up security of the Bitcoin network in order to have more control of the future of Bitcoin and just kick out the current core developer team that has kept us kind of safe since 2010-11, whenever they kind of solidified that group. And it's a group of 100 decentralized core developers, right? So this is your general 101. So unless they find a way to run only BIP 91 to get us SegWit pre-August 1st, unfortunately or fortunately, it looks like, I don't know where my hat is. Forgot where. Oh man, where did I put my hat? Anyway, I don't know where my hat went. Lost it. Lost my SegWit hat. Anyway, the user-activated soft fork it's going to be, and we need economic nodes to run them. All right, so that was a quick 101. Didn't really mean to get into it. Okay, next. All right, let me see where Bitcoin is right now. So Bitcoin on Stamp is going down a little bit. We're back into the 2493 range. Okay, so let's see. Only if we go above last week's low will it create a long-term potential bear market signal. But we're still in a 1 to 4 week pullback, guys. I'm not going to pull up the chart, but this is week 4 of a 1 to 4 week pullback that just started. So we're still in a 50-50 bull or bear, okay? But if this week is a bad week, the bear might take over. All right, next. Why don't you trade Bitcoin? You're obviously good at TA Inside. There's a couple of reasons why. There are many reasons why I don't trade Bitcoin. I used to trade Bitcoin. One of them is I don't trust any of the exchanges, and I only trust, I've lost too many Bitcoin to incompetence. So my new rule is my Bitcoin stays in cold storage. I don't trust exchanges. One reason. Second reason is I'm really busy with life, and I enjoy doing these videos. And if I was really trading Bitcoin, I wouldn't do videos. One comes at the expense of the other. If I start trading Bitcoin, I'm not going to do these videos. Even though it feels like I can influence the market to help my positions, and that's also not what I want to do. Also, if I was making these videos and trading Bitcoin, I think I wouldn't be as good at the analysis part, because I would be invested in my position, right? If I was long Bitcoin right now, I would be, I would feel like I know in my head that I would be biased towards calling for a Bitcoin bull because my position is a bull to try and influence the market to help my position. If I was short Bitcoin right now, I would be screaming that everyone else should short Bitcoin to help my position. Like, I would be biased in what I tell you guys. And my moral compass would either have me trading or analyzing for other people. It's not going to be both, right? Like the traditional trades that I make, I don't talk about those, right? I don't talk about those for multiple reasons, but it's kind of the way I am. So if I start trading Bitcoin, I wouldn't talk about it, right? So you get one at the expense of the other. And I'm also doing well. I mean, you guys are calling me up for consulting at my rate of 0.1 Bitcoin an hour, and I make enough money to pay my bills. So if I'm making enough money to pay my bills, I'm happy, and I don't need to spend time trading, especially trading Bitcoin. It's a 24-hour market. Okay, I'll never sleep. And I don't like day trading. It's too hectic. This is just some reasons. I have more reasons, right? I also find Bitcoin markets to be mature. I prefer trading by Apple stock, which doesn't have some idiot putting in a $30 million market order and crashing the market to 10 cents, right? It just doesn't happen in Apple. So I prefer my large cap NASDAQ and S&P 500 stocks, okay? I can go on and on, but these are just some of my reasons. Some traders have said TA says a 1-month bear market. Do you see that as a possibility? Well, not yet. I don't, not yet. I would need to see on a daily chart. I'm looking at my charts. I know I'm on video. On a daily chart, we would need to go a little bit lower, not much lower, and then I can see a daily a bear market on a weekly, and on a weekly chart, I would need a lower low than this week than this past week's low. And then I can see a bear market. I'm not going to predict how long the bear market's going to last. I don't know if it will be a month or a year, right? Like, nobody knows. I take it week by week. I have my target. Like, if the bear market begins, my target is going to be 1,300. But I have no clue if it's going to get to 1,300 in a week or in a year. I have no idea, right? So you have to, I can't predict that, right? I can do a time analysis, which I've done, and August 11th is my major day. So if we start to crash now, it's possible that August 11th will be a low. And if it looks like SegWit, and if it looks like, let's say F2 Pool and BitFury commit to BIP 148, and there is huge confidence that we're going to get SegWit, the price can go to $4,000 or $5,000 by August 11th, and then August 11th is going to be a sell event, right? And if we start to crash right now because of uncertainty and fear, and we crash to 1,300 by August 11th, I'm going to view August 11th as a buy event. So we still have 6 weeks till August 11th and 4.5 weeks till August 1st, which is a very critical day. And I have no clue. Bitcoin can be at 4,000 by then or at 1,300. Nobody knows. I can only take it week by week, day by day. And the moment I see something in the charts, you guys will know. Or I can start trading and not tell you, right? And then maybe I'll lose money or maybe I'll make money. I don't know. Depends. In general, I make money when I trade, but this is not the kind of stuff I trade. And in case I have new followers here, I trade spread options, direction neutral spread options on NASDAQ 100 stocks during earnings season. That's my #1 trade strategy. And that's all I honestly have time for. All right, next. Will you be able to hold private consulting sessions when you are in Prague in October? I hope so. I mean, look, this is how I make my money these days. Okay. So yeah, I mean, having a good internet connection when I travel is I'm trying to think if it's more or less important. Well, it's definitely more important than hot water. It's probably not as important as like running water so I can take a shower. It's probably less important than a bed because I have slept on the floor. Just get some cardboard boxes and so you have some kind of cushion and then you're good to go. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously I'll need food and, drinking water. But a high-speed internet connection is very, very high on my list of things. So yeah, that's my income right now, guys. I mean, and I work on your schedule. Like I'll be up at 3 in the morning if that's the only time you can. If that's the only time you can pay me 0.1 Bitcoin to talk to me for an hour, I'll set an alarm. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. to talk to you. It's my job. It's what I do now. All right, next. Support for SegWit is now at 42%. Is it possible we reach the 95% before August 1st? I'm not sure what that means. Support for SegWit at 42%. I saw that SegWit 2x support is at 90%. And I'm not sure what that question means. Do you mean people running BIP 141 at 42%? Then yeah, it's possible, but that's the thing. BitMain will block it. BitMain is 20% alone. Via BTC will block it. BitMain will block it. Bitcoin.com pool will block it. You won't get 95% for pure SegWit without SegWit 2x. And don't make a mistake. SegWit 2x is to me, I refer to it as a Trojan horse to kick out Bitcoin Core devs. All right, next question. If SegWit 2x gets consensus and rolls out before August 1st, what happens to the core developers? Excellent question. Do they continue development on SegWit 2x code? Absolutely not. Okay. Well, let me not speak for core developers. Okay. So this is my opinion of core developers. And if any core developers are watching this, feel free to curse me out in the comment section. Okay. I mean, look, core developers, I showed a list on the video a few hours ago. Core developers is a group of over 100 people. So maybe a few of them will go and program on SegWit 2x. Okay, but let's talk about the important ones, right? So the cream of the crop, the top 20% of the core developers. Okay. I don't want to share screen. No, I'll have to share screen. Shoot. Oh, this week's already going down. Let's see how today goes. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, look. Here are the top core developers, and here's what they think of SegWit 2x. They're not programming on that thing, right? They're going to continue programming a Bitcoin Core client. Okay, they're going to continue programming Bitcoin Core. I got to double check if we're on Bitcoin Core 0.14.2 or 0.14.3. I really should know, but I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're going to continue to program Bitcoin Core, right? I mean, just go to bitcoin.org, right? So it's all right. So oh, come on. Thank you. There it is. Oh, there's a big downloads button. I'm retarded. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're still on 14.2. Okay. So they're going to continue to program 14.3, 14.4, 14.5. Okay. And they're going to continue to program this. And this is going to be SegWit compatible. And let's play devil's advocate. Let's say SegWit 2x gets consensus, like the question says, before August 1st, and everyone is running SegWit 2x code. That means people aren't running Bitcoin Core developer code. And if the industry continues to run SegWit2x code, programming will be done by another developer team. So if the world stops adopting code written by core developers, the core developers will feel that their work isn't needed, and they will move on to other projects. My best guess is that most of those core developers will, not most, but some of those core developers will realize how this particular open source project got corrupted by those with power, money, and influence, and it's no longer decentralized open source to help change the world. And then they might as well go to Goldman Sachs, go to JP Morgan, go to a hedge fund and get paid, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year to be their CTOs. Okay? Because they will have amazing resumes. Okay? Why would they waste their time with this if their work isn't appreciated? Okay? That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Let me go back to camera here. Okay? All right, let me go back. Oops, no, not that. Let me go back to this. Okay, so they're not going to program on top of SegWit2x, right? So that's the worst case scenario. I mean, it's basically a snuff. You're basically, a snub. It's basically a snub to core developers if you're not going to run their code. So if you're not going to run their code, then they're not needed. Then we don't need them. And if the core developers, I'm going to keep running their code. And if no one else is running their code except me, and that's not going to happen, then I'm going to leave when they leave. Okay, because they're just not needed. Then they're not needed. So this is not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, so I don't want to say the most likely scenario, but if SegWit2x does get adopted temporarily in order to get SegWit into the system, I'm pretty sure it would be temporary for maybe a month to get SegWit in, and then the industry leaders will go back to core code. Now, even under that scenario, by not using the core developer code and willing to run unsafe SegWit2x code, even temporarily, will signal to the core developers that this industry is totally incompetent. And it potentially may question, what the fuck are they doing here? Why are they going to program code if the industry is just going to snub them to run unsafe code because they feel like it for a month? Now, if SegWit2x code was written in a way to use the core code, but wrap it so that, make safe face to the miners, like if there wasn't any additional garbage in there, then perhaps our core developers wouldn't feel, disrespected. But right now, if I was a core developer and I watched the industry run unsafe SegWit2x code, even for a day, I would consider the competence of this industry to be unworthy of what Bitcoin can do. And I would be scared for the future of Bitcoin and how easily it can get corrupted by a guy with a pen and paper getting everyone to sign on the dotted line without knowing what the hell they're signing, right? So this is why SegWit2x is a problem. And this is why I think our industry, even though they were stupid enough to sign a piece of paper, they didn't, committing to running code, they didn't know what was going to be in it or who was going to be even writing the code. Even though they were stupid enough to sign that piece of paper, they may not be stupid enough to run it, but sometimes I underestimate blatant stupidity, okay? So that's my opinion on it. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And you will know how incompetent each company is based on which companies actually put the savings of their users onto unsafe SegWit2x, untested and unsafe SegWit2x code. Okay, we'll all find out together. All right, I think I rambled on that question enough. What do we got next here? At what price or market cap would Bitcoin price become as stable as regular fiat currency? I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. My best guess is when Bitcoin is consistently above $10,000 and the industry is moving to bits as a unit for Bitcoin, where 1 bit is it costs more than 1 penny. Then it should have some stability. My best guess. What percent of Bitcoin Core devs are American? Any Chinese core devs? Okay, so what you need to do, I honestly don't know, but let me see here. I pulled up this image in my prior video. Maybe I can tweet out this image again. And then what you want to do is you want to just look at this paper, and then you want to maybe start Googling the core developers one by one and find out, their background. But these are the core developers that worked on version 14.0 of Bitcoin Core code. And, I mean, some of them are Chinese, though. Just because they have a Chinese name doesn't mean they're not American. I mean, Andrew Chow, I'm not familiar with him, but he could have been, born and raised in the US or any other country, right? So, and a lot of these people are anonymous. And here's a huge list of their names. Now, this is not everybody in core, but this is everyone who contributed to a Bitcoin Core Client 14.0, as opposed to these people who contributed to Bitcoin Unlimited code. And most of these people on the right are not paid. I mean, my best guess, maybe 10 to 15 of these people are actually paid by a company that has investor money to help support Bitcoin code. Everybody else is a volunteer. Okay, so before you start your conspiracy theories of how Bitcoin Core is corrupt, and just think about, like, you have to get all of these people together and somehow bribe them all, where people like this, like, I have no clue who this is, but I guarantee you nobody else does either, right? And BTC Drac never shows his face either, okay? Though, I have communicated with him. Most people have. He's on Twitter. He's available. He's done YouTube videos, but not with his face, just, audio only. Okay, so, good luck figuring it out, But yeah, wait, am I sharing screen? Yes, I am. Excellent. All right, let's stop screen share. All right, I think I have one more question, guys. I didn't really mean for this video to go on and on. Are any of the miners working on reverse engineering ASIC boost to get rid of this advantage nonsense? Well, that's the thing, right? If you reverse engineer ASIC boost, then you're using it also, right? So if everyone is using this advantage, is it really an advantage? The answer is no. But if everyone is using ASIC boost, then no one is interested in SegWit, which might be happening, right? Because SegWit eliminates ASIC boost, right? But if everyone is using ASIC boost, then you might as well want SegWit, because then no one has an advantage either. So, but yeah, I mean, look, covert ASIC boost, which is what BitMain was accused of using, it wasn't new. It was patented. And in order for it not to be used, it was a defensive patent that said, hey, we know this is kind of bad for the Bitcoin ecosystem, so a couple of guys patented it, and there was kind of a community, a community unspoken agreement that nobody would be using ASIC boost because it would be bad for the Bitcoin community as a whole. And of course, BitMain, this is why everyone hates them, they went ahead and repatented it in China, ignoring the other patent, and then they were using it covertly. And then when everyone found out, they all said, what the hell? we thought that there was a unspoken community agreement that we're not going to do this. But BitMain was clearly, in BitMain was suspected of being in violation of that. Okay, so now either everyone is going to want to use it, or everyone should want SegWit so nobody can use it. But if everyone is using it, you might as well put SegWit in, because then there's no more advantage. Anyway, so that's kind of the view on things. All right, guys. I think this video has gone on for an hour. I really meant this video to be only 10 minutes. This is probably why I get nothing done. But anyway, on this note, I will call it a night. Let me just glance one more time at the Bitcoin price. We are going a little bit lower, 24.90. It's very unfortunate. We did make it to 25.26 with about 15 minutes to go before the close of the weekly candle. I really wanted us to push $5 more and close above that red line. Unfortunately, we did not. That puts us in a little bit on a defensive stance, but Bitcoin is not yet a short play. We are not yet in a bear market, but it's starting to lean that way. And as always, I do multiple videos. I try to tweet it out at least every other day, my views on the situation. And I will keep everybody updated. I still have 150 viewers. So thank you for tuning in for the second time today. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for your support. Thank you for retweeting my videos and stuff. And thank you for those that reached out to me for consulting. Okay. Once again, my rate is 0.1 Bitcoins per hour. So if you do want to talk to me about markets or anything else within my area of potential expertise, I'll gladly talk to you. I haven't heard any complaints yet. Everyone so far has been happy. Okay. All right, guys. On this note, I will sign off and see you all in the next video pretty soon. Bye-bye.